versus Phoenix1, who will be left in the last place of the North American LCS.
And tied with poor FlyQuest, who I believe are also playing at the end of the day. And, I believe that's against Envy, but I could be wrong. Either way, that's not what we're talking about here. It's all about this game and the closeout of this match. As Week 4 is going to conclude, Phoenix1 are 8 days away from flying to Berlin for Rift rivals. And the question is, are they on form? They were the definitive last place team. They switched up with Mike Young and Express got better. And the question is, how high can they really go before they have to go fight some of Europe's best teams in, again, a week and a half?
Yeah, that is going to be a tough turnaround for them. I know that the other two teams are really leaving right after LCS games that weekend, and we shall see. I know Phoenix1 have to play on Sunday as well, but, you know, a lot of power pick bans coming through, but we have some mix-up here. Team Liquid specializing a little bit in the mid lane here with a Kassadin ban and not the LeBlanc ban. This is definitely kind of a gambit, leaving that one open for a power pick here. Kind of either have to give LeBlanc or, ooh, I was even going to think that Rek'Sai was going to be the other one traded, but Caitlyn is the ban instead, and Team Liquid will happily take that LeBlanc. They plan for this with the Kassadin ban. You can definitely see it coming. So this is both teams I would expect. Not surprised, sure, by the way that this is going, and Phoenix1 may have another answer, you know, for LeBlanc aside from the Kassadin.
Yeah, we'll see. They certainly valued Caitlyn as more important here for Piglet, even though Caitlyn was certainly not the reason Liquid won that first game. Still something they don't want to give away. Rek'Sai grabbed them, of course, and the question is, do they want to grab the Orianna early with that quick Syndra ban? That's always a possibility. Is one of the typical counter picks. Lucy put in lots of Orianna games. They're instead going to go ahead and take Twitch once again for Arrow, try to deny some more of these long-range carries from Piglet.
Definitely was able to put out a lot of damage in the last game. And Mike Young also had a very successful Rek'Sai. Early game, ganking mid lane, getting Ryu, getting Ahri the early money so that she can, you know, have the items to back up the kill pressure.
Absolutely.
And then he himself as well, diving into the back line later. Reign over Elise, though.
All right. A new look here into this one. I'd played the Gragas last game. It's available. It's on the table, but he wants to play Elise here, going for a high-tier jungler.
More early game, and it makes sense. They've got a LeBlanc in the mid lane. They want this game to be explosive. You know, Slushie also, in this guy's history, has played LeBlanc many times in the LCS, and this was one of the big champions, even the old LeBlanc before the rework. So we'll see how he's able to do this time around with a LeBlanc Elise combo. That is very scary. 2 versus 2 around that mid lane.
And you get Conquan Thresh here as well, so a lot of scary playmakers here. No front line to be had just yet. Thresh, a fairly squishy champion. They're going to wait for top lane and the bot lane as their final roles here for Liquid. Phoenix1 have to decide what their counter pick is going to be. Cassiopeia and LeBlanc is not a huge surprise, and they are going to grab that one up.
It's interesting because you can still go for, you know, harassment onto the Cassiopeia and still go for those classic LeBlanc trades, but you always have to wonder, is she going to throw down the miasma on my W so that I can't distortion back and make me fully commit to this fight? You know, is there a jungler waiting around to try and turn this around? Because if you mess up even 1 or 2 times versus Cassiopeia and start to give her some money to fuel that late game, it is insane, the damage output. Plus, a fed Cassiopeia also puts even more threat on Barons because she can burn those down with just the blue buff.
Kills them very, very fast. And we're going to see as the picks and bans adapt, Phoenix1 removing Kalista off the table from Piglet. And I actually wonder if Phoenix1 will try to find a split pusher that can handle Slushie's LeBlanc later on in this game. Cassiopeia doesn't really like being in side lane. She's a bit slow. No Tom Kench here for a special. You'd expect Braum to be the second one there. It's almost all he's played so far this split. We'll have to wait to see, though. Both teams need a top laner. One team needs support. One team needs a marksman in the bot lane.
I like the Tom Kench ban as well. As far as denying their, mid-game plan, it's at least Thresh and LeBlanc, right? There's 3 pick champions already on the table. No matter what else Team Liquid drafts, that alone is enough threat to, ban the Tom Kench so he can't save people out of those picks.
Wait to see what it's going to be. We've seen Tristana become a lot more popular. I like her a lot as a Hurricane backline Affinity Edge user for high damage. You can kind of match what Twitch does.
I also like her in combination with Elise and Thresh because there's so much threat of kill pressure, and it actually more kind of validates your rocket jump forward. There's a lot of, you know, oh yeah, Tristana rocket jumping into the team fight, almost never do that. It's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. But she's actually so good at getting early kills in lane if you have that much offensive power.
Yep. A little surprised to see the Renekton ban, considering we saw how well Gnar had done against it before. And also letting Ixvestas go back to that tried and true Braum pick he's played so many times in the split with the team. Gonna let him go to something a bit more comfortable regardless. Varus picked up here for Piglet. A champion I've not seen have quite as much success so far this split. Obviously still viable, it can't be played absolutely, but I haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, still super popular.
Yeah.
Now with the attack speed build, the common way to go. Jarvan in the top lane is very flexible, definitely blind pickable up there, no matter what the move here is from Phoenix1.
Yeah, ton of picks. You can see 41% of the games it's been played. Certainly pretty common. Does win more than it loses, so to be fair, it's been successful. It's been an average champion, just it's been everywhere. And let's see what the counter pick is going to be. Kled in for Zig to battle Orlo's Jarvan.
The classic.
Absolutely.
All right, Zig, one of the, well, the original North American LCS Kled player here. Definitely a lot of time on that champion for him. So it looks like Phoenix1 are at least very comfortable on the champions that they have chosen here. And I'm very interested to see if Reignover and Slushy get this very fearsome mid-jungle combo to work early on.
See if they do. It's going to be fun to watch for. Got to feel good for Lolo. He has mixed damage in the matchup here. He's does physical and Reignover does magic. Meanwhile, Mike Young and Zig are both physical, so Lolo going to grab Ninja Tabby almost for certain. It's a 1 magic damage dealer here for Phoenix1 on the red side. Thankfully, it's Cassiopeia, and she does plenty. But I want to see how well Liquid can do with their split pushing, because LeBlanc is incredibly powerful. We know Slushy can play the champion. The question comes down to, can the split push be, can it be working here?
And we have also seen a lot of, some variation in the LeBlanc builds. They have, Hextech Revolver is still very much alive and well, but we've also seen the pure AP LeBlancs kind of make a resurgence here.
Sure.
Slushy, I feel like, is going to go with the Gunblade, but
yeah,
always worth mentioning.
It'll be hard to assassinate in a team fight because Xpecial's playing this Braum. He can ensure that he can block the Sigil of Malice coming out, so or the Shadow Orb it's called now, I should say. But Slushy gonna have a hard time finding arrow in team fights you have to expect through a Braum, but it's gonna come down to this. We are here for the end of the match and the end of the week for both of these teams. Game 3, who's it gonna be? Moving in and doubling their match wins at the end of week 4. Will it be Liquid? Will it be Phoenix1? Let's find out.
All right, what's going to be the #1 objective for the first 2 minutes, Freak? Raptor Wars!
Raptor Wars!
All right, let's see. Fan out. It's going to be the classic here. And both of them do have decent Raptor starts, pulls from the mid laners. So I guess it is worth mentioning that at least, it can throw a buff start into the mix and kind of throw you off there and go for the super early ganks, and that could very well be effective against a Cassiopeia in the mid lane, because even though you have the cleanse, multiple forms of CC coming out, LeBlanc's so good at setting up ganks, especially early on in the game, and Elise definitely good at finishing them off or even tower diving for them. Let's go a little bit more into that, Zig Kled pick, though, because he was instant with it. And when Jarvan, got the shield buffs and stuff and he really started to show up, we were looking into even just, like, the solo queue win rates for what were the champions that did well in solo queue versus Jarvan. And Kled was one of the first ones that popped up as far as at least, professionally viable ones.
Yeah.
Because he has, such good all-in and such good chasing down, he can actually go for so many trades and rely on his first D-mount with a very high probability of remount, because Jarvan, especially early on, you can go for those trades and he'll have to use everything just to compete in the trade, and then won't have much to try and execute you after you've been demounted. And if you get that demount and consequential remount off, it's a huge amount of lane advantage, as long as you don't get punished for it by a jungler on the return and during that kind of cooldown period.
Speaking of junglers on the return right now, Reignover getting a heavy leash onto the red buff, and then finds to take down the Krugs pretty quickly, so he's going to get a ton of XP and he'll be level 3 real fast.
Yeah, and this is kind of the classic now start for the red side, because the bottom leash can give you that super pull on the red. where you
might
just
invade for
do
blue.
The small raptors into red, and then you want to get your second Krug spawn, but you don't want to waste time picking up the baby gold. And this is kind of that early mid priority or mid focus that we did expect. He hasn't moved, so Mike Young didn't see him on the pass.
Coon, he tried to predict a flash, I think, and
way wide.
And he has no mana anymore as well, so that's just 200 damage dealt, and out he goes.
Yeah.
That was not exactly a lot of capitalization.
Nope, and Slushie was pushed under his turret there, so there wasn't even much setup. Meanwhile, Mike Young gets a freebie on the bottom side.
Slow on Quan. Here comes the attempt for a knockup. He's going to go for the Thresh, who flashed away just in time and gets the hook, though he's going to pull him under turret, but there's no flay available.
Minion made his way all the way over there to take the shot, so he didn't even have to take a turret hit.
That's amazing.
Meanwhile, a lot of minion damage actually done to Phoenix1 because they were doing that into a pushing wave.
Double signs as well. 6 casters there. A little bit of pain, but they're going to probably stay afloat here. 4 CS deficit will be equaled pretty easily for Era.
All right, round 2.
Gonna find the root, the flash. There comes the cleanse to get away with it, and he's in range though for the bite. 120 HP left on Ryu, still running down. He'll get the haste from this.
All right, the first one you could say was a possible flash prediction. Yeah, he's definitely dead now. Snake Pit, he's cornered.
First blood to Slushie, assist. Gold goes over on both sides.
Last time they got first blood on Slushie in game number 1 for Phoenix1, it went quite well.
Yeah.
So even though Rainover on the second Cocoon looked a little bit rusty there with it, going wide, maybe you can still try and make an argument of predicting a move forward for the dodge. Regardless, though, didn't matter because they have priority in bottom lane. So yeah, that was he was predicting a cleanse into walk forward dodge is the reaching. That's the reaching explanation. Yeah. Didn't matter because the bottom lane was pushing. That's what pushing bottom lane matchup does for you. Thresh easily can roam up to corner the kill for the mid laner and hand feed Slushie. Yeah,
this is why Rainover doesn't play Lee Sin. That champion has to land skill shots.
I mean, his Elise has been really good in the past.
I know.
Years ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, even
I too used to be good years ago.
Yeah, even as recent as 1 year ago.
All right.
But yeah, that one. Mid focus did. Ooh.
He's got no flash. He's got no ways out. The Flay's going to buy a few more seconds, but you got to imagine the chase is there, and Ryu getting himself a kill as well ties the game back up.
All right, right back there. Washes pretty much everything away. All right, and the kill does go over to the mid lane. So now it's a CS lead on top of the answer kill here for this Cassiopeia, and Ryu's feeling very comfortable now.
He's got it. He's already got the farm lead as well, and that's after getting ganked more than twice, so feels pretty good. Gets a pretty quick blue buff 5 minutes in. Mike Young giving it away. Cassiopeia can keep the scaling going. Otherwise, a tied game. The top lane matchup has been Lorlo favored. He had a blind picket. Zig finding himself a bit of a trade. Trades into the shield, though, and Lorlo actually triggering Grasp means he's actually healthy here, but here comes Rainover. Can he predict the Cocoon? There's a dismount, and he does! He flashed right into it. The kill is secured. You've got to believe. But maybe it's going to be a bit too much. Lorlo with 20 health gets away.
He was just calibrating the Cocoons earlier. And Rainover gets the flash prediction this time around. Beautiful. Oh, man. And Lorlo also, it was necessary for him to take that extra turret hit. So he's baiting here. He throws out that flag. And because Zig knows that without the combo, Lorlo is going to lose the trade,
he doesn't predict.
He gets completely baited. Well, it is a prediction because you don't need to throw it that wide. So he throws it with just the edge on where he is, and you get that extra space on the other side because you know that there's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
And so you can say, oh yeah, it's a bad flash, and he should have flashed more straightforward.
Which is probably true.
Yeah. Because then at least you make him not gain both with that particular Cocoon.
He has to commit to exactly one angle.
Yeah. But Rainover had already gone for a flash prediction in mid, which was a full flash lane.
Sure.
Rather than the kind of crooked one there.
Yeah.
But anyways, you should almost always throw your skill shots like that, by the way. If you have the width of Cocoon, you only need the edge of it to hit the current position of the champion.
Right.
Because you know that
the skill shot hit every other angle you could.
Exactly. You know he's not going to dodge back into lane. He's not going to run back into the Jarvan and take the extra damage because then he's dead anyway. So it's just a process of elimination as far as escape paths go.
Yeah. Basically, when you're at these close of range, you have to play predictively, which means you're playing odds at that point. And what are my opponent's options? How can I close as many of them as possible? And that's what Rainover did. And he got one of those options that it lined up for him here. So the game is 700 gold plus for Liquid. And we'll see if that can continue. Zig has caught back up in farm. They've both TP'd back to lane recently enough. Lots of long swords on both these sides. The bot lane trading pretty close to equal. Piglet with a small lead here on this Varus. They were going for a boots-heavy early build, though. It's pretty unique. I don't see that very often.
Also, note the little things that they're doing in lane. Conquan's still waiting for his flash to come up, so he's positioned far back, just waiting for lantern range just behind Piglet. So in case there's a gank, you can save Piglet, but he doesn't have to expose himself until his flash comes all the way off of cooldown, and then you can play your Thresh more aggressively.
We'll see if that aggressive play comes through. The summon is up and everything else. Mike Young does get level 6 now, so the ulti ganks are available.
Aggressive Thresh might come into play very soon here as the dive possibilities scare him off the turret.
And out they run. Not able to get much of the gold at all, and not even much of the XP anymore. Here comes the chase in for Slushi. Wants the chain, only going to get X-Special, but that is good damage. To the XP on both. That's going to be first turret.
And he aimed it at X-Special too. Interesting. They do zone him for the turret gold though, and that is first blood gold, first turret gold, have both gone over to Team Liquid, collecting all the bonuses.
They really are. This is a good game for them right now. They're bouncing back pretty nicely after a hard fought, but lost the game over in game 2. Slushi going to TP back to lane to not lose out on this minion wave. It guarantees them a couple more minions as a result. And he's got that revolver in, so you were right, that's the build he's going for. The split push, more focused one. And yeah, down 15 in farm. Ryu does have this kill. I think Ryu can certainly take the game over. We've seen him do that before. And so far the game is not yet out of reach, but Liquid have been making the better choices in this early game.
And they also, again, remember they put this emphasis on these pick champions, you know, Elise, LeBlanc, Thresh. So if they are able to get control of the turrets as well, you know, first turret going down is really big, they really want to open up more space to get deep vision and deny vision for the possibility of picking more people off to really kind of flip from last game where Phoenix1 had most of the pick tools and they were the ones playing the vision war, playing the fog of war game. And Team Liquid this time the ones who have those tools.
We'll see if they can keep that going then. Aggressive wards down a little bit. You can see Special burning both his Sightstone wards, just tracking like that little quadrant of Eastern jungle right there. Those two just for a little bit of safety. It does track Rainover, it does track Klonquan.
And the defensive vision providing a lot of value here because they just want Arrow to farm at this point.
Ooh, they get the root onto this one. The flash cocoon, they've got the damage over the play is there. The box is in, and Arrow low on health, pops the spray and pray, but he's gonna get shut down by a Piglet now. A bit more of a chase as Elise repels around, and there's the duck coming through for Laura. The whole team showing up.
A 10-minute second turret dive here from Team Liquid and full commitment. Talk about decisive gameplay, and they are all on the same page, pressing this ahead. Incredible tempo here in the game for Team Liquid, and they are utilizing those picks as intended. They should also, after that secondary turret, be able to get people in place to defend. Zig is doing some damage to the top turret, but I don't think he can actually take it so early into the game. He doesn't have many offensive items. Take another look here. Piglet lands the Varus ultimate, so that's why Rainover flashes in for the cocoon on him. And then they all are focusing the main DPS. Arrows down first, then they switch over to Mike Young, and they leave X-Special to walk away because he is not a threat.
And it means the turret fell as well. So really nice stuff here. The gold lead 3,000 up. Mid-turret, healthy as needed to be. Not even a problem for Ryu knocking that one down a little bit over time. Top lane we'll see in a little bit here, but overall, it's a great early game for Liquid.
And remember, we're coming into this series talking about how both of these teams have been in similar situations early on in this split.
Yeah.
Struggling at the bottom of the pack. They have previous MVPs on their rosters, but the pieces are not working together. And Phoenix1, previously to this, had been the one with a little bit more success. But Team Liquid pulling it together right in time, and now they've got the timing here on Braum.
They've got the CC, especially running out of HP, 200 health left, but he's able to walk back. Now a shot on a Mike Young. Gonna be able to get out as well.
Yeah, big health leads, no kill comes through, but that's enough to bully him out of the jungle. And again, the vision's so important when you have all of these pick tools. It's everywhere inside of Phoenix1's jungle at the moment. Rainover actually turns his sights towards the Rift Herald objective instead. Pretty much every jungler can solo the Rift Herald at almost any stage in the game past level 4, but Elise is definitely one of the best at doing it. Arrow, though.
So does Arrow, though. Jumps in for this, but it gets rooted up. And nice turnaround. Ryu not going to get the stun. Piglet wants the kill. He's going to get it. Flashes away, and that's not going to be a pickup for the Cassiopeia. Mike Young now in the front rows as well. Gets a knock by the Conquan, but a Thresh is not the kill you really want as Piglet still safe to free. Far ulti comes in for not enough damage. A double kill down there. Zig kiting around in a 1v2. The damage will come in. Sluji picks him up, so 3 unanswered kills for Liquid.
What a massacre for Team Liquid as they outplay on both sides of the map here. In mid lane, Piglet absolutely destroying Phoenix1, able to flash out of the Cassiopeia danger after securing their kill onto Arrow, and then he's able to kill off Rek'Sai before she gets underground. The ultimate was channeled. Rek'Sai was diving underground to go invulnerable, and at that point she'll be able to get off the second half of it and get the kill, but they nail him first, take down Mike Young, and Team Liquid are able to really carve out a nice opening for themselves in the mid game. Piglet able to nail the ultimate, then turn around and take the Lantern for the point blank kill onto Arrow, then flashes away from any further Cassiopeia damage. Meanwhile, up top it was a 2 versus 1, so a bit easier to pull off, but they wait appropriately for the dismount before continuing under the turret here, and then Slushi's easily able to finish it off.
Really nicely done, of course. That meant top lane outer turret fell, so it's 3-0 in turrets. And Phoenix1, all they have gotten so far is that single kill picked up as they traded back across the mid lane earlier on in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a Twitch and a Cassiopeia, so you can kind of always, just tell everyone on your team, all right,
stop feeding.
Farm for late, boys. We're going to try and bank on the scaling factor, but this lead early is so big for Team Liquid that that's a very difficult strategy to pull off, and that's kind of why people use it as a joke sometimes, just farm for late, when the early game is going so poorly, but that is actually the case here as Phoenix1, not any options for taking any sort of even number fights. It's all about just defensive vision, trying to defend your turrets, and waiting for an opening to try and punish a mistake from Team Liquid.
And we're going for round 2 against Rift Herald. Worth noting, of course, Elise is very good against these types of objectives. In fact, very good against Cloud Drakes. It does no splash damage. This Vitalings will die 1 at a time. You get a lot of time for that one as well, and Raynor should have no problem knocking this one out. Gold lead 5,500 here, and it's pretty big. Liquid looking good. There's the pickup. Moby's plus the Runic Echoes is in. He's going towards the Leandri's Torment next, so Rainover is going to be all kinds of scary in this. There's plenty of damage output. He's going to summon it right away towards the mid lane, looking to knock down that final outer turret. Let's see what comes in next as Phoenix1 just waiting around, hoping they can get the wave clear. Kled and Cassiopeia are trying, and look at the threat. Lorlo walking forward, and there comes the charge, and the turret's going to fall. Kill credit goes to Conquan somehow. He got the last hit. Cannot be disabled as more turret health falls down. Mid lane tier 2 at 80%. Liquid so far can do no wrong in this game. The most decisive lead they've had in this series. Winning in every single lane, only 1 death on Conquan, and even he's had a very great game. You can't fault him for the death overall. Top lane tier 2 under fire. How scared is Zig right now? He's just hitting Laura, not doing a lot of damage. No stun's gonna land as P1 backfills the lane.
Man, yeah, I mean, you mentioned how early it is in the game, and you look back up again, it's still only 16 minutes in.
Yeah.
With the pace that Team Liquid have been pressing this, there's only 2 secondary turrets left for Phoenix1. And luckily for them, they get a couple of small jungle camps to respawn here, but Team Liquid did not leave them very much. And that's the whole goal when you get this far ahead so early, is just to kind of starve out the enemy team, deny any sort of neutral farm for them so that you can continue to increase. Because it's so early in the game, you can't press forward because you really risk giving your lead back if you're trying to dive turrets, into inhibitors and stuff, unless you're, insanely ahead or something like that. So just go for the siege method, basically. Take away most of the neutral money and continue to increase your lead that way. Cloud Drake number 2 will be on the way shortly.
We'll see what comes in next then, as they really just have map control. Anything Liquid wants, they can take right now as long as it's available for them. 6,500 gold up, hoping that the 7-1 lead stretches even farther. And they can close the series out 2-1. Arrow wants in, nice Lantern. There's nothing to do against Piglet, and that's well played, by the way. Any Threshes out there, You need that spotty sense of when you might be under threat, and you run away first, and you let your teammates bait the cooldowns that he can have a very long lantern that no one can grab him for. You know, it was far enough away that the lantern couldn't be caught by a miasma, something like that. You know, don't throw it wrong against Cassiopeia, obviously, but plays it well, and it's an easy escape for Piglet.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the split push. Always got to keep in mind, you know, what happened last game and get a little bit of vision at least to protect your solo laners that are more exposed. Jarvan there is able to, you know, clear away very easily with Tiamat without using the Q, but sometimes if you want to instantly shove it, you will use the Q and you expose yourself a tiny bit, not having that mobility for a few seconds. Full steam ahead though for Team Liquid.
Yep. Once again, throws the lantern off the miasma, easy escape for Piglet, and they can go for a little bit of poke, and Kangkwon just plays the defense, right? It's siege mode now for Liquid. They've got a few ranged champions, 3.5, depending how you count Thresh. And the turret damage going to keep coming through. Piglet and Slushie going to put a few more hundred dents into that one. Here comes the Kled ulti. Can he catch on to Slushie? Yes, he's going to try, and then out he goes, flashing over the wall.
All right. One hard engaged tool down, and Phoenix1 don't have many of them this time around. Also cost them a turret as Lorlo able to clean up.
Yep. Nicely played so far by Liquid. The Gold League going farther. 8,000 up now, and it's a flash out of arrow. The ability for a Chain of Corruption to land was too much for him, and he went out. Piglet, nice ulti, was going to land that otherwise. There was not. I think he could have dodged it. Here comes the shield up in the air. He's going to find it not only on a Kangkwon, though, but his health bar just gets shredded down, and Ray never gets the kill for that one. The spray and pray, not enough damage. His arrow falls as well, and Mike Young is next up. He's going to fall a double in for Rainover. Turret aggro was on a Piglet, down to 300 health on him. He's got to be careful on this Varus, but he can lifesteal back up at the Ruin King. 60 health per shot or so, and mid lane already fell, so top lane True 2 is next. 6-0 in turret, still only 1 kill given up.
Yeah, you have to be careful even about...
Oh, the big play out of Rio. He wants Piglet, and he can't have him. The stun is there. He tried, but it was an LCS small play. Shut down.
Uh-oh. I mean, that there is just...
That's understandable.
Yeah.
You're losing by so much, I think it's worth taking the risk.
So this one, though, is not, right? Because we mentioned that the game plan at this moment should be, you know, just kind of huddle behind your turrets and try and farm for late. Right. Even getting that close in front of your turret, Kangkwon pulls him out of turret range. So all the DPS, the range DPS there, easily melts him down, and then they go for the dive afterwards. Team Liquid was going to get this turret regardless, and Phoenix1 just gave him another kill there, X-Special going down. Then Ryu's like, you know what? Let's play. Yeah, I want to play League of Legends.
The fact that he had to walk into the brush to do damage, like if he has vision, maybe he can pick off Piglet with the Twin Fangs at the start, but he had to walk forward than a more champions to make it happen, so no good there. As we were talking about X-Special going for the play, yeah, Ryu was out of range, so there's no way it's an actual 5-on-5.
Yeah.
What he's looking for is like, oh, I'm gonna put the shield up, I'll make Piglet take aggro, then I'll ult him, and it's gonna trick him out, he's gonna, oh yeah, we're gonna have the turret kill him, and obviously did not work that well. He just got blown up right there. Quick smite. Second Cloud Drake now to Liquid, feeling good for themselves. Rainover 3-0-5. He's stacking up the ability power. Morel and Amakan not far away from Slushie either, and I mean, at this point, just how clean can you make this game? You can see Liquid just smashing this game.
It's definitely their cleanest game. Yeah, you look at the average, they're down 1,500 gold at this point. But this game, obviously a different story as they chase Phoenix1 out of the Baron pit. Don't even have to show their faces.
-7 times their average. Zig cannot be crowd controlled. He gets away from the chain, but that is ulti down. One less tool up for Phoenix1.
All right, well, this inhibitor turret's going to take some deeps.
It might die. There's a good chance. Damage coming through, 3.5 HP. Ryu wants to put some pain forward and Rainover. Does not have any defensive items, down to 900 health. Turret at half, Phoenix1. Still hoping they can wave clear, but they don't have a lot of tools as Piglet keeps putting the autos in. He's got the double attack speed items, and they force him away. Inhibitor will fall in under 22 minutes, you have to assume. Although now P1 are going to maybe try to push them back. It's still close. Ulti's going to land. They get the knock-up on a 1. Nice ulti across. They're going to look for Piglet, going to look for Rainover. Can they make this happen? Mike Young going back and forth. Cannot find the knock-up. Cannot find any damage. The actual Spiderling's keeping him safe. And a great hook on a Ryu. Pops the cleanse. Tries to run away. One more attack will kill him. And the shot comes through. Slushie picks him off, but it is a trade kill as Mike Young takes down Lorlo in the top lane. Inhibitor still low, but still alive. His arrow tries to come back for a few more auto attacks. Zig dismounts, and he's going to stay safe. A 1-for-1. Probably the best you could hope for the losing team.
Yeah, that was a little risky there for Team Liquid, but they in the end, still get the advantage. Don't get the inhibitor, though. So Phoenix1 are holding on a little bit here, buying themselves a tiny bit of time to try and outplay again.
And time they're going to keep needing. The question is, how good is Liquid at closing out games? With the 10,000 gold lead, you have to assume it's pretty likely.
Yeah, and it's not complicated at this point at all. There is a Baron up. You have an exposed inhibitor in mid lane, and there's an Infernal Drake on the way. So there's a lot of power on the map that you can use, and you can leverage it because you have one of the biggest gold lead, the biggest gold lead that Team Liquid has, had this summer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Possibly ever.
Possibly.
Unlikely.
At this stage in time, but it's been quite a few different Team Liquid teams. All right, let's take a look at how it got so close. It's mostly because they focused special with almost all of their damage early on in the fight. And Arrow actually did get off quite a few shots. What saves it here is Lorlo distracting everybody while Slushie and Conquan finish up the kill onto Ryu.
Yeah.
And that meant that Piglet got to lifesteal a little bit off minions. Rainover was not killed, even though he was extremely low. And Team Liquid still got to walk away victorious.
And to his credit, Ryu got very close to killing off Piglet. He forced him to flash against the wall and run away, and he went down to 300 health. So
everybody else went chasing Lorlo, though. All right, here's another charge.
Yeah, Finzy's going to find the charge blade backwards, though. There's no engage to be had. Quick cocoon to stun him up. Looks like no gains to be had. Here's the slow for Arrow. He wants it on a Piglet. A lot of health bars getting dropped. They're going to get the shutdown. That's the bot laner gone, and he's the kill leader on the team. A double kill as if it got the support as well, and this might be the fight they really need. It's 5v3. One trade kill now for Lorlo as they look to chase down the rest. Rainover Squishy jumps into the air, looking for the next little bit, but Slushie gets the rampage taken down. Zig, a stun in melee range. They're trying to turn it around. Rainover just barely making it happen. Finds a stun, and the re-engage comes through, and it will be the ace. The final shot is in, and Slushie makes it come through. It's actually Mike Young who does live. Liquid lose 2 at the start and yet go 4-1 afterwards.
Yeah, they're really far ahead, Freak. All right, Slushie teleports up to try and take down this inhibitor turret, and Team Liquid poised to win their match here versus Phoenix1 and try and move out of that last place slot.
I actually can't believe they won a 3v5 where their bot lane got deleted at the start.
You can't believe it, they're up 12,000 gold.
Hey, when 10,000 of that gold is on Piglet, they're not at 12,000 gold anymore.
Not 10,000 of the advantage, though.
Yeah, just he has 10,000 gold, so that's gone.
All right, let's take another look at how it happened, though, because Phoenix1, they don't have options, right? You just have to hard engage when you see a numbers advantage, and they go for it. Can't blame them, and they do get off a very good start. Taking down Piglet, as you mentioned, there's 10,000 gold. Now they take down Conquan, there's another 7,000 maybe.
Sure. Mike Young, oh, the shield wasn't enough. There goes 8,000 gold, he's gone.
Like I was just evaluating everybody now with
6.8. I was actually wrong. I overestimated Mike Young. I'm sorry, internet.
They're pretty far behind. And Arrow!
He's so out of health and he's gone. Piglet getting revenge for the prior kill. Here comes Zig in the back line. Can he do the damage? Yes, with Ryu he can, but the trade is already there. Rainover shuts down the mid laner. Now it's a 2 versus the world, and you know it's not going to work very well for them. It's just Special sitting on about 4K, and it's not likely to go well for him anymore.
And
Liquid,
they
do whatever they want.
are going to grab the Baron. Death timer is so early in the game, it leaves a little bit to be desired as far as Nexus rushes. And you always hate to see a team rush the Nexus, take down these turrets that barely give you any rewards. If you don't kill the Nexus in that full rush, and you give up kills inside the base, and that really prolongs it. But
Special wanted to see Baron die. He sees it, and he sees himself fall before his eyes as well. That was probably
guys, they have Baron.
Yeah. Every solo queue support does this, by the way.
All right.
Don't make this mistake yourself.
Again, though, they're so far behind. Phoenix1 every time they see someone without a friend by them, they're like, hey, no buddy system here. Let's attack that guy. And they get some kills for themselves. Well, 1 kill before the giant money bags come crashing down on their heads.
Yeah. Just goes, why'd they kill me? It's okay, the rest of my team made it happen. And then Piglet himself still doing pretty well in this game. 6-2 and 10. He won the lane. They got first turret gold. The ganks came through, and it really was a full team win here for Liquid.
It really was. And now it should be the time where they press in for the victory here. Baroned up. They've got the Infernal Drake off the board already. Split pushing has commenced with Slushie, and he doesn't have teleport, so maybe they take it a little bit slower than that, since Slushie on the opposite side of the map. However, they did win a 3v5, so The 4v5 definitely within reach as well, especially considering they got more power.
Absolutely. So we'll see what comes in. 15,000 gold lead, Baron buff on for 2 minutes.
Slushie made sure that Team Liquid were not going to give up a single turret in this game.
Yeah. TP was in. Here comes the chase. They found Lorlo for a little bit. The desperation here for Phoenix1. A nice actually pullback. Gets him out of the lantern. Flashes to safety. Now he's going to go right back in and get the kill onto Arrow. Flash still up now. It's going to be Guardian Angel pop. Can the re-engage come through at a 1-for-1? They will try to take him down. The re-engage comes in a big knockup and a double kill here over the top lane of Lorlo staying alive, and the kill still coming through. Zig very, very low, ready to get chopped down, and it's going to be a quadra kill for Lorlo. Only Slushie, the scumbag, stole away a kill. He deserved the penta. It's not going to come through, and that's going to be assuredly the game falling over. 20-second death timers across the board here.
Yeah, he deserved it. He even got down and then got back up with the Guardian Angel to get a couple more kills. And that is going to be it. Team Liquid finds success here versus Phoenix1.
Phoenix1 and 7 Liquid able to take down not only Team Dignitas a couple weeks ago, but now getting the win over what could have been the rebirth of Phoenix1. Maybe Liquid have found the lineup they need to climb back up the standings. Can they chain more off of this? Liquid taking down Phoenix1 2-1. Lorlo, the first one to get up and congratulate his teammates in both these wins. Coming by saying thanks for your hard work. The high damage Jarvan certainly did well though. You gotta say, blind picked it,
yeah,
well in lane, got some kills out of it.
And he got player of the game in game number 1. Highest gold on the team, 8-1-10. Definitely impressive performances here.
Yep.
But really it was the improvement in team play that we saw from Team Liquid. So decisive in so many of their objective calls. Very quick Barons, and especially here in game number 3, the pace of the game was lightning quick.
Sub 30 minutes. For a squad that's had trouble getting game wins at all, to be able to shot pull a 30-minute victory is definitely an impressive
To be fair, once you get to a certain point.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's weird because I've seen so many teams have good early games and still not know how to close out games. We've seen them throughout the North American LCS the last few years, but certainly it was an impressive win. It was every lane winning as well. You had plays all down the line, and here we go. Steve, you know, maybe he paid for the lineup, but this team was earned, and this game was earned. This match win was earned by the players. And again, maybe this is the sign of things to come. Of course, we said that about Phoenix1 when they signed Mike Young in Special. They had some close matches. They'd got a win over Echo Fox, and maybe it's the rebirth. But they're up against a team that was floundering here in Liquid, and it's just, you know, people trading blow for blow, hoping to find them the wins somewhere wherever they can find them. And you're hoping that some of this sticks for one of these squads.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, some marked improvements that you can see within the gameplay from both the teams. So even though Phoenix1 don't win, they still, you know, have looked better since picking up Mike Young and Especial. So they can carry those over. Just because they lost here, you know, to Team Liquid, and they're going to end in last place, whether it's tied with FlyQuest or not.
Right.
Doesn't mean that the improvements are washed away.
Yeah, of course. There's still time to be had. And as always, you know, North America's harder to play against than Europe, so they'll, you know, easily clean sweep Rift Rivals, no problem.
Slide that one in there.
Slide that one in there. It's not as good a smack talk as Medic, who just, you know, throws in the straight jabs, but that's okay. Honestly, it's just a well-earned win, though. And I really do like seeing when the team wins through different avenues, right? Game 1, it looked like a Protect the Piglet draft, but it was Slushie who hard carried. Here in this one, certainly Slushie had a great game, but I thought Lorlo was insane. He, again, like dives into the 1v4, gets a quadra out of it at the end of it all, like pretty much full attack damage Jarvan. So he had definitely made some really good plays, and the fact that even when P1 goes in and deletes Piglet at the start and deletes Conquan at the start, Slushie and Lorlo and Reyna were able to do the 3v5 and turn it back around. So certainly the grit to come back in and use those members and get all those kills was well played.
Yeah, those guys really stepping up. Slushie actually make a very good case for his spot as well. And you start to see some of the fruits of their labor, right?
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot moving around, you know, these 10 players, and we don't know what goes on in practice, but we do know what goes on stage, and that was a victory for Team Liquid.
They're second of the split. So now for more on that win, let's check one with Riv and their starting jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Rainover from Team Liquid after taking down P1. Good little golf clap from everybody around. The fans obviously happy about this, and changes for the season for Team Liquid as we kind of go through a few. Now, Conquan in the bot lane, what does he bring to the team, and how has this helped Team Liquid?
I think Conquan basically, like he's not like a rookie. He used to play a lot of like team game, so he understands team game really well. And I think his like attitude in the game is like also like really good, and he's really good friend, which make us like really comfortable, I guess, on playing game because like I think recently by us having like a lot of like lose, like the team environment is like I wouldn't say I mean it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good, and like having like playing with like new player on the team, it just like kind of refreshes the environment too, and yeah, I mean he's good. So
Does he have a big voice on the team?
um, I wouldn't say he have a big voice, but yeah, he sacrificed for his team and he knows what to do. So like yeah, I think he's a good support. So it brings a lot for us.
Awesome. And Rainover, this is definitely a question for you. Previously being on Fnatic, very high wins. Being on Immortals, very high wins. How do you kind of reset now that Team Liquid has been having troubles? How do you kind of wash that away and find your old performance and continue to play like old Rainover?
I think it's really hard for me because like I am like 100% confident based on players. So like if I'm winning, then I think I just get way better as the time goes. And like if I'm losing, I feel like I just drop a lot of confidence. And then my play like there's a lot of flaws happening on my plays, and like we have having a lot of like communication issues. So it was like really hard for me to like do something or like make a good decision like as a jungler, but and it causing for us to like lose scrims, like lose stage, and it dropped my confidence. But like recently, I think I said even before, like I have been like asking for a lot of like conversation help from our coaching staff, my family, and my friends, and it's just helping me. So like I feel like my mentality is getting better, and I'm getting my confidence back. So it's really good that we win today. So next week or the next week, yeah, I think it'll be better and better.
That's awesome. You're making strides yourself to make that work and not just kind of hoping people around you will do it. Final question for you. Inori is now in the house. This is kind of the first time you've had another jungler to bounce ideas off of. How has that relationship been?
Inori, it haven't been that long since he joined the team, so I haven't been get a chance to like get like really friendly with him. But yeah, I mean I think he's like really cool guy. I really like him, and as a jungler, I like his playstyle too, and I respect him a lot too. So I think we can learn each other a lot, and um, I think if we, Inori even like when he first joined our team, like he like the first thing he said was like I just wanna like like improve each
Right.
other and like be a good like it's like not like competition, but it's just like helping each other. So I think
Healthy competition.
yeah, healthy competition. I think I think it's helping me already, and
Absolutely.
I feel like way less pressure because before I kind of feel a lot of pressure because like if you lose and you're sad and then like, but now it's like you always have someone that can like help each other. So it feels really good. I like it.
Awesome. Well, a win is also a relief and pressure for Team Liquid. Congratulations on that, and best of luck in the rest of the games as you guys move on. We're going to throw it, I believe, to the analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
That's right, Riv, you're throwing it to us. Thank you very much. Great to hear from Rainover after they pick up this victory against Phoenix1, moving themselves to 2-6. You heard from him some, cautious optimism in terms of the growth of the team, as well as how they're integrating all of the new players to develop this larger roster and give themselves more option. He himself having to share some time with Inori. But before we dive into the game itself, I want to take a look at Champion Select because coming into Game 3, I had posed some questions towards you, and you had suggested to some degree leaving the LeBlanc up in the face of Slushie and almost making him prove that he can play it. They do just that, and Team Liquid decides to prioritize it first rotation.
And I still, I'm a little up in the air on the decision because, like I said, I think you should leave it up because Slushie is a good player on LeBlanc, but he hasn't been dominating. His Ori's been looking good. It's not like you're putting him in a bad spot if he's taking Orianna.
Right.
And so you want to change things up a little bit. You know that if they don't take it early, something that TL generally doesn't do with their mid laners, Ryu can play it. He's a great...
Exactly.
So this is a shared champion. If he does take it early, it plays into his Cassio pick, another one of Ryu's best champions. So
right.
you should, in draft, be safe against it. And for the most part, I like what they did. The big thing is that Rainover's smart and knows that this is a very, very important matchup to get into LeBlanc's favor, because once you do, if If the LeBlanc gets ahead and doesn't get shut down by the Casio, the 1-3-1 becomes so easy because Casio does not want to be in that side lane.
Yeah, to be fair, Phoenix1's, on Phoenix1's side, they did ban that Caitlyn and the Olaf, right? So if they were going to ban the LeBlanc, they're dropping one of those. And by knowing that the LeBlanc, or basically giving the option to Team Liquid, look, you can either take the LeBlanc or the Rek'Sai, which is a very popular pick for Reignover. They're able to take that one away. Of course, the Elise comes through. As you mentioned, he gives a lot of attention to the mid lane. The execution, not quite there entirely, but the thought process is correct. And that's those are those inklings of the MVP jungler, that Reignover once was that we still see.
Yes, because the way Casio wants to play level 1, we saw Faker do it, absolutely demolish the LeBlanc. You play up into the minion wave, you spam your E on them, they can't trade with damage. But you really miss position when you go for this kind of play. So Reignover just does, the red buff clear, gets a little help from the double leash, and then he goes and ganks it. Like we said, not great execution, just kind of throwing his cocoon out. It doesn't work. He wraps around, gets his blue buff, and then goes for the repeat gank because he knows how important this matchup is, and that's the one that works out with this bot lane being able to join in.
Repeat gank is successful, but of course for Team Liquid, it seemed like kills were kind of falling all over the map. I want to push us ahead to 10 minutes into the game. There's a 2-for-0 on a bot tier 2 turret dive.
And this is what they're able to do with that mid control that they just got. Slushie's hopping over the wall, joining in on this play. It's a 5-man dive down out in the bot lane, and you see that, P1 tries to get people down there, but they're not expecting this level of commitment after just 10 minutes in the game on the inner turret. There's 5 people down there. They get 2 kills under the turret, and then with this lead, there's a couple close scrappy fights that if TL's not playing with this advantage, probably doesn't go in their favor.
Yeah, but I do think that this speaks to, again, what we talk about this team has needed to some degree is that, okay, great, you've gotten yourself an advantage somewhere. How are you going to use it and push it forward to build advantages in the rest of your lanes? And today's series, to me, is kind of that first bit of evidence that Team Liquid is making strides in extending their advantages and being able to pull the trigger and actually close games out.
I think a big part of that is Slushie. If he's able to step up and kind of play that role that Pyrion ended up playing in Envy and their kind of resurgence, you don't need to be a superstar. You just need to be a role player who has a couple champions that he can really perform on. And it seems like so far the Ori's won and the Blanc is one. If you find a couple more in there, then he's going to be able to be a huge factor for this team, because if Reignover knows what to do in the early game, can get people moving, Piglet's competent late, Lorlo, for the most part, is competent late. There's still some late-game shot-calling stuff, but at the very least, the foundation of the team is good.
Absolutely. We talk about Slushie performing well here today. Let's talk about Lorlo specifically in this game, getting player of the game for what he was able to accomplish top. There was a sweet turret dive between him and Reignover around level 5 in the top lane, both getting away with a sliver of health, helps him push that lane forward. Even in game 2, in which they lost, I felt like his Gnar into the Renekton was fairly well played, and we're starting to see a little bit more of that Lorlo we once knew, who can play those split push threats, but is also ultra comfortable joining the team off of the TPs and being, that tank engage that they need sometimes.
Had to deal with the Kled counterpick coming in from Zig, his signature champion, is able to survive it early on, and then with the Elise comboing in, gets a couple of ganks, and then once he got that lead, was a huge factor in a multitude of these kind of skirmishes and team fights.
So now let's talk about Phoenix1 real briefly, because everyone was all super hyped around Phoenix1, even coming out of week 3 when they went 0-2, right? I mean, they had early game leads, lost the games. Yesterday they performed quite well, were able to pick up even their first match victory, but here they are dropping a game to the team they're tied with at the bottom of the standings in Team Liquid.
It's definitely surprising. Even I was kind of in the mode that, like, all right, here comes potentially P1's first 2-0 weekend. They're bouncing back. How high can they go? And then they get derailed by Team Liquid, the team that was kind of vying for that spot, 9th, 10th spot. And it was a kind of game where, Mike Young wasn't super impactful for the most part. And this was someone who we were talking about being the new spark plug for that team that really got their early game rolling and bought them the space they needed to actually win games. And here, just Reignover, for the most part, controlled them every time.
I think that's a huge thing, right? We're looking at Mike Young on things like Nidalee and Lee Sin, where, hey, if the skill shots are landing early in the game, then of course you're going to start picking up those kills off the ganks and you're going to look real damn good. But Reignover, being the jungler that he is, understanding which parts of the map are most important for him to visit first, gets into those lanes before Mike Young can, doesn't give him the opportunity to respond in the way that he needs to, and ultimately pushes his team forward to victory. So maybe a little bit of a learning moment for Mike Young, where he's not just stomping games from the beginning.
Reignover is known to kind of give people that learning moment. Dardoch, when he got started in the league, couldn't talk enough about his matchups versus Reignover, always feeling like he got bested, and he's kind of been doing that to a lot of the the rookie talent that's been showing up in the NALCS, as the junglers seem to be kind of the premier hotbed of talent in North America. But there's always Rain over at the top, ready to show you that you still have a thing or two to learn.
Phoenix1 still did get their first victory of the split this weekend, though, so that's something they can be proud of moving out at 1-1, while Team Liquid, hey, they look good today, and I'm happy to say that. So at 2-6, that's going to do it for that series. We got more league action coming your way. Up next, FlyQuest take to the stage opposite Team Envy. Meet us back here after the break.